This is another Monarch Snapshot video. Flip over Concepts Textures app. Hello, I'm Jennifer Wenzel, Technology Product Specialist here at APH. And today I'd like to tell you about a new app for the Monarch that is called Flip Over Concepts Textures. This is a great app to help students with tactile literacy and tracking. And I will show it to you now. So I am at my Monarch main menu. And I'm going to use point and click to go to all apps or all applications.
Main menu, all apps. Braille terminal.
And I am going to use point and click again to select the textures, the flip over concept textures.
Flip over concepts textures.
And when you first open this, it's got this very cool raised print and kind of a really nice texture. And in Braille, it says flip over concepts textures. Press enter. So that's what I'm going to do. And in raised print, I believe it says the same thing. It doesn't say press enter, it just says textures. And that has a really cool texture. So we'll push enter.
Flip over concepts textures. Tutorial mode.
So this gives you a menu, and if you watch the video on Flip Over Concepts lines, this menu will look really familiar because it's almost exactly the same. So it gives you a tutorial mode that gives you all of the things that I'm going to be talking about, and maybe even a little more. And you can always refer to this, or a student can refer to this, or you can use it if you don't want to watch me again. So we have that tutorial mode. Then you have an exploration mode, and we'll go in there now. And that will give us a chance to view some of these textures in full screen. And these textures have names, but it's important to remember a student doesn't necessarily have to call them by these names. They're just a way to show what they are, but students might make up their own names that make sense to them, and that's okay too.
Explore complete patterns. Press enter to continue. Explore complete patterns.
This tells me that I can explore complete patterns and press enter to continue. So that's what I'm going to do.
Inline grid pattern.
So the first one is, it spoke to me and said it was an inline grid pattern. And if I didn't remember that, or I didn't hear it the first time, or I want to see that in Braille, I can use the letter T.
Inline grid pattern. Okay.
And it says thin line grid pattern. And actually, I had misheard that as inline grid pattern. So I'm glad I read that. So let's do OK.
Explore complete patterns.
And then we can do the next one. So I'm going to use my right D-pad, and I'll use the down arrow.
Zigzag lines.
And now it gives me the zigzag lines pattern. If I use my down arrow again,
horizontal blocks.
I get a horizontal blocks. So this is a way to understand what each pattern is and what they might be named. And anytime you want to view the name in Braille or have it repeated, you can use the letter T. So now I will exit that mode.
Flip over concepts textures.
And I use
exploration mode.
I use space plus E, but you could also use the back button on the front. And I'm going to go to the two-panel texture matching. I think this is a great activity for students to really practice their understanding of patterns and their tactile discrimination in sort of a fun game-like activity. And so two-panel is a great place to start, especially for younger students.
Two-panel texture matching.
So we're going to hit enter here.
Match the texture on the right to the texture on the left. Press enter to continue.
So pretty straightforward.
Match the texture on the right to the texture on the left.
The speech kind of does a repeat here. I'm not totally sure why it's doing that, but basically it's very simple instructions. Match the texture on the right to the texture on the left and press enter to continue. So now when I press enter, I'm presented with a textured pattern on the left, a gutter line, which is like two vertical lines with a small space between them, and a textured pattern on the right. And right now they do not match. So I'm going to use my right D-pad, and I'll just try with the up arrow. You can go up or down. Oh, they still do not match. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to keep moving through these and make sure that my hand is raised as I am doing this. And I'm still not finding a match. Still doesn't seem right. Still doesn't seem right. I probably should have used the down arrow, but I did not know. Oh, now this is looking a little more promising. So I think I've now received a match. So let's use enter. And you hear that fun little sound, and there was a haptic, and my pattern changes on the left. So now I'm trying to match a new pattern. So this can keep going on. If I do it wrong, say I just push enter right here, and I don't have matching textures right now, you get a different sound, more haptics, and the pattern on the left stays the same. So you know that you need to keep looking for a match. So if the student is getting really good at this and this isn't challenging anymore, you can go
Flip
to
over
the,
concepts textures. 2-panel texture matching.
I use the back on the front edge, the back button, to get out of there. And now I'm going to go to the 3 panel just to
texture
show you
matching.
that really quickly.
Match the textures in all 3 panels. Press enter to continue. Match the textures in all 3 panels.
So now I need to match in all 3. So the left panel, you always leave the same. This is what you're trying to match. And I want to move this middle panel, and I do that with the left side D-pad on the left side of your Monarch. And so I am changing that one. And I used up. I don't know why. I could have used down, but my hand just went to the up. So that's what I'm going to keep doing, because if I go down, it will go back through the other patterns. And that's important to remember. If you skip over one and you don't mean to, you can go right back to it by going the other direction. I am trying, oh, no, this is not a match quite yet. I'm trying to match these horizontal lines on the left. And, now I think I have it. So now I'm going to move the right one. Go down this time. And now I'm using the right D-pad on the right side of the Monarch. And I'm continuing to scroll through these patterns. No, not quite. Continuing to scroll. I think I've got it. They all feel the same all the way across. This is a great tracking exercise to go all the way across. So now I'm going to hit enter. And I'm correct. This has been a Monarch Snapshot video from your friends at Humanware and APH.